So today I'm going to be talking about what I experience in my house and the things I see at night, and ever since doing my Ouija board, what came upon that. And I'll show you the Ouija board. I think it's a pretty nice one. My mum got me it for Christmas, and the first thing I said, I was like, why did you get me that? I'm a very I'm quite a spiritual person, but I didn't want to mess with anything like that. I'd always been told, like, my grandparents are very religious people. My grandma would always make a really big deal out of anything like a Ouija board and say it's life threatening. And I know there is danger that comes with it. And that's why I was so put off by it. And I also did one when I was younger. We made one, me and my friend, and we managed to contact somebody, and it was quite an upsetting experience. So when my mum first got it, I was a bit uncomfortable. I didn't really, I didn't know what to say. I was like, why did you get me that? And she was just like, well, I thought you'd like it. And I was like, yeah, I guess. And we did do it. Me and my boyfriend did it. And that is what I'm going to be talking about. But this is the Ouija board. It's a pretty cool one. Like, you know. It says on the back, my time is past and long gone. Now in shadow, I wait to aid you. Request of me before the dawn, for my answers will only be true. And this is the little centerpiece thing there. So that obviously goes with that. Not gonna mess with that because I don't wanna, you know, I don't wanna mess with that. Basically, let's get started. So, in my family, there's been quite a few things. In my mum's side of the family, something to do with their relative dying, which I can't go into details because it's personal. But they had a lot of experiences and a lot more than I thought they did until I asked my nana about it, and she finally came clean after all these years of things she didn't want to admit because she didn't want to think that this person was there with her. She wanted him to be in heaven, she wanted him to be in peace, and she thought that if he was giving signs to her and doing stuff to her in her house that he wasn't in heaven and he was stuck there, and she didn't want to believe that even though she's come to terms with it. It's more just likely he was showing her that he was there now. um Sorry. On my dad's side of the family, when he was little, when he was really young, he used to live in quite an old house with my grandma. And it was just him and my grandma, and well, it was for a while, I think. And it was mostly just him and his grandma in the house. And every single night, an old woman used to tuck him into bed. And when he was younger, I don't think he really saw it as a spirit. He didn't know that it was somebody that had passed that was tucking him into bed because he was young. And he said, apparently, my grandma said when I spoke to her, she said she always knew about it, and she knew that obviously this woman wasn't alive, but she wasn't posing any threat to my dad. She was just putting him to bed and comforting him in, and all she did is she comforted him and give him kindness, and she didn't do anything. My dad was never scared of her. It was just like this routine he was used to every night, and then it just all of a sudden stopped after a few years. Um, After that, I mean, I don't. You could say that that's. I would say, like, if my grandma didn't back that up, my dad could have been imagining something or misremembering it that it was my grandma tucking him in, not this other older woman. Um, but no, that was spirit based, and my dad always used to have a dream about going up this like white stairway. I think it's like a black and white dream of this like Victorian house and him going up this staircase, and the details in the dream were that particular. I remember him telling me about it, that he had them when he was really young, and then when my sister was young, she said she had the exact same dream when she was asleep. The exact same one, around the same age. She had that same dream and described it to my dad, and it was the same thing. I think that's pretty strange. I don't know how two people could have something that's identical, and the fact that my dad didn't tell her about that, and then everything she described was the exact same house and staircase that he like described. Um, so that's weird. But I've never really had any spiritual. I've never had any spiritual like encounters or anything like that. I know people around me have. I know my boyfriend has. I know that a few of my friends have. Um, I can't really say that I have. I think the things I see are a lot probably more likely to be my insomnia and paranoia and everything playing tricks on me, to the point where when I did the Ouija board, I don't know if it was just coincidence or we did contact something that's very directly linked to what I've seen. And that's what worries me, is that before, basically, so I'll just tell you what I mean. So when, for quite a while now, ever since the start of my relationship, really a bit before then, so I would say about could be like 10 months, I've had this really like off feeling in my room. I mean, I'm sat next to the wardrobe now, and this is the wardrobe comes into play. So basically, I lay down here. My head is there next to the TV. My doorway is that, and my door, if my boyfriend's not here, the door's open, but he'll only sleep with it closed because he doesn't like, he thinks that it's like too loud and that he can hear everything on the landing, which I agree with in some ways. So when he's here, we have the door closed. Even when I had it open, I used to feel safer with it open because I used to sometimes leave the landing light on and then I could see stuff in my room and I'd know that I would be just seeing like furniture, or I don't know if any of you have had hoodies hung up like I have, that literally you think, oh my god, it looks like a figure, and then it's not, it's just an item of clothing that you've thrown there. Um, so like that type of thing. But when we got together, um, a lot of the time I would fall straight asleep, but the times I wouldn't fall asleep, which have grew more and more and more now to the point where I can barely sleep anymore, so I have to like sometimes stay on stairs for ages just to like do something, like I'll play games for a bit, or I'll watch YouTube for a bit, or I'll watch something on TV just to get myself tired so that I can actually fall straight asleep and don't have to battle everything that I'm seeing and get creeped out by it, because I can't sleep like I used to be able to. I can't sleep anymore, and it's only just got like this, and I don't know why. But if anybody can help me with that or experience them things, then that would be much appreciated. But most likely, I mean, a lot of the things are like, I think it's probably just my imagination. But that's when the Ouija board comes into play, and then that's like, that's not the same thing anymore. That's literally, two things. Ah, my earring. Hold on. Okay, right, my earring was just slipping. That's like two things that are too similar to be like, coincidence. So basically, when I'm laid in bed at night, I'll look on top of my wardrobe. And I never used to do this, but I always have this feeling that somebody's watching me. And I'll open my eyes and I'll just be staring into darkness and I'll feel like somebody's there. And I never ever have had these feelings before, but I just do now. So I'll be like feeling that somebody's there, and then I'll look on top of the wardrobe, and then I will, kid you not, see somebody crouched. And for some reason, I've always thought that it's a little boy. It looks like, I can't even describe it to you. It just looks like in the pitch black. There's somebody there with their knees, like holding their knees like that, like, I can't show you properly, but like knees, like holding them like that, and like on top of the wardrobe, like holding knees, like crouched down like that, and like peering over. And I know that's such a stupid thing to say. Like, my boyfriend said to me, "Why would a spirit be doing that? Like, why would, if anything, why would he be like crouched over the wardrobe?" And I get that. Like, I think myself, why would he be crouched over the wardrobe? Like, that's weird. But I don't know. But anyway, that's what I see. And I'll tell myself it's not there. There's been a lot of the times that I've really panicked and felt like I'm in like sleep paralysis, and I'll be like trying to do anything, and he'll realise, and he'll wake up and he'll be telling me there's nothing there and trying to comfort me until I can go back to sleep, and that takes a while, trust me, and that's not really helpful to him considering he gets up at like 5 in the morning for work. So I've tried to not be like that, and I've tried to just leave it and not talk about it because I feel like it's not fair, and I do still see it a lot. But I just try to tell myself it's not there, and if I turn either way, I do eventually fall asleep if I just think about something else and distract myself. But the other time as well, when I was at his house, we was in the loft, and literally for my first time ever where I felt like I couldn't move, I was in his loft, and there's a mattress up there like a bed, and I was laid in the bed, and I'd already been falling asleep, and I was coming on from my sleep, and I heard him go to toilet. He went downstairs. I could hear him talking to his dad downstairs, and I could hear him going to toilet, and I could hear him flushing the toilet. I could hear everything, and then I literally heard walking across the loft behind me. So my head was facing the wall, and I could hear footsteps going right behind me like that, and my head was like that. And when I was trying to turn it, I was trying to turn my head to see what was there, what I could hear. It was literally, I feel like it was these. Bless me. Um, Basically, when I was turning my head, I was trying to turn it. It literally just felt like my head was like radiating, like there was something like I couldn't turn it. And my hands, I couldn't even move my hand. I could move like a finger, and I was trying so hard to like use myself to turn around and see what was there, and I couldn't. I couldn't move. I was just staring at the wall, and I felt like something was right behind my head, about to like be near my ear. And then that's when, as soon as my boyfriend walked up them loft stairs, I like it snapped out, and I could move my head again, and I could move my body, and I felt that uncomfortable, like I'd been seized up by something, and that it was like next to me, against me. I burst out crying, and I cried for literally about 20 minutes, half an hour, because I had never experienced anything like that, and it shook me up that much. I didn't know what to think. I was so confused by it. I can't even tell you. It was ridiculous. But I mean, I don't. I'm explaining all this, and I know it's already been. I'm looking at my camera now, and it's already been nearly like 12 minutes. I haven't got anywhere to like edit this video. I'm doing this raw just with my camera, and I know a lot of them. I don't think anybody's gonna watch this, and that's okay if they don't. But I'm doing this for myself, and like for anybody out there who's experiencing the same thing as me, or what I'm about to tell you, or knows anything, or can give me advice on how to like sort this out, because like I feel very uncomfortable now. I never used to. This is the first time, it's like last year, that I felt uncomfortable in my own house. I used to be able to walk around in the dark and everything and be completely comfortable. And now I'll look down from the bathroom and I'll convince myself I can see stuff, I can hear stuff. And the only other time I was like this is when I was younger. I used to have a dream about a man pushing a woman over the banister in my house, because my house dates back to the 1900s. This has always been a children's room. And the reason that we know this is because when we took the light fitting that's behind there, when we took the wallpaper, we re-wallpapered my room, behind the light fitting, every single layer we took off, it had gone back to like, you could see like 50s wallpaper of little girls, like flowers, like really old fashioned, like stained, dated wallpaper that's been preserved because it's been around the light switch and it hasn't been ripped off like the other layers of wallpaper. So some of the wallpaper only went back like to the people before us, or like back to like the 70s. But this literally went back to it was clearly always a kid's room, because it's a smaller room of the house. There's only two. There's a main bedroom and this is a smaller room. And I don't know why I was having this dream. I think I was probably like, and then when I would have this dream, I feel like a woman was whispering in my ear after I'd seen her be pushed on the balcony. I felt like somebody was whispering in my ear, and then I'd wake up, and then it would just stop, and then I wouldn't have it for a long time. I think I only had it a few times, and then when I got older I never had anything like that again. No more dreams like that, and it was really strange. But you know, onto the Ouija board thing. So I've already said about this little boy on top of my wardrobe, have I not? Well, me and my boyfriend, sorry, this is like really annoying me, my part in there. Me and my boyfriend had been at my stepdad's house, and at my stepdad's house, when we was talking about when we was younger, when I was younger, my stepbrother was younger, in his bedroom he always used to see a little girl. And because my stepdad's house goes back to the 1700s, so it's like 300 and whatever years old. It's ridiculous. And it's in Leven. It's like the main history monument in Leven. It's worth quite a lot now, and a lot of people recognise it as like being there a long time. It's a very old build. It has an annex and everything in the back where, like, they used to call them granny flats for like their old relatives to move in with the people, the families and stuff. And everything in there, I feel awkward about the annex. I feel like when you go in the toilet there, it's haunted, a door closes by itself, stuff like that. I don't feel comfortable there. I never have. I thought it was a very negative place, and I didn't really like sleeping there a lot. But I used to when I was younger. I used to have to sleep there quite a lot on the weekends for my mum to spend time with my stepdad when they first got together. And me and my stepbrother would be in the bedroom, and he said that he'd seen a little girl before, which the people before that before who lived there, before my stepdad lived there, apparently there was a little girl there as well. They'd seen that, and when my stepdad had been sleeping on the sofa one night, he saw orbs like flirting, and when he woke up, he saw somebody like shift walk, like flirt like a woman into the music room, and the door was closed, just like dissipate. And he was like, he's a skeptical person. He doesn't believe in any of that. He doesn't believe in it now. He even says to this day he'll have just been imagining it, or that it's orbs. But I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's just the whole point is because he wasn't phased by it. It didn't occur to him more. It just tried to appear to him that night, and because he wasn't bothered, it didn't try again because it knew that he didn't believe in that type of thing. But I see we was talking about this. We was talking. Me and partner was talking about the little girl because where I sleep now in my stepdad's house is my stepbrother's old room converted now into a double bed. So we sleep in that room when we go to my stepdad's. And when I was there, I was thinking about that. I haven't seen that, don't get me wrong. When I was little, I used to think I could see stuff in the doorway, but it was never anything specific. I never like definitely saw a little girl or a little boy or a woman or anything like that. So I haven't physically seen anything in that house. But when we came back, we was by ourselves and we decided to do Ouija board. And my boyfriend won't do one now, which is annoying because I want to do one. But he won't do one, and I'm definitely not doing alone. But I don't think he wants to do more because he's done quite a few himself, and you know. So we did one. My mum and my stepdad obviously were with us this time, and we did one. Um, and it was just I didn't even think we would get anything from it. And I I wanted to video it. But I wanted to video it so people would know that the stuff that was coming up is stuff that like we couldn't even know it wasn't any of us pushing it. It was so random, but it was also so specific to stuff that I know that he wouldn't know, and like stuff that he's figuring out that's like relating and that I wouldn't know. And it was just it was so weird, but it was so legit. It was just annoying that I couldn't film it or something. But when I'd said about filming it, we didn't want to because we didn't know whether that's like sort of a spirit's like trusting you, you trying to talk to it. You can't really mess with it, and you can't really like film it. You're not supposed to do stuff like that. You're supposed to just have it all natural and genuine. So we lit all candles, the salt, did all that, and so we did all that, and basically was asking stuff about when it started moving. It was saying random names. I can't remember some of the names. I think there was a lot of the names were like older names, which makes sense because my block of houses there's only four now, and there used to be eight because my street was bombed very badly in the war, and a lot of people obviously will have died in their houses, or the houses will have been destroyed, and the people have just died naturally back then because this house is like 100 and whatever years old. So like obviously there's gonna be people around, and I think there was some certain names. I think there was like some strong names. I think there was like Ray. There was different stuff like that, like different certain names that were just like none of us knew anybody like that either. So it's not like we subconsciously pushed it to like all these different names like people we knew, because they were like names that you wouldn't even think of off your hand, just like just such like strange names and such strange responses. Like you wouldn't even expect it. I even myself, like when we was doing stuff, I'd be thinking of something strong. I'd be thinking of something in my head, and then it'd be the complete opposite. So I know that I wasn't subconsciously pushing that because I was thinking of something completely different, and what he clearly wasn't thinking of either, my boyfriend. And then it'll go to it, and it was so weird. It was just like, and then when I'm pretty sure how it went down. It was a fair few months ago now, and I'm trying to remember. I can't even. I wish I had kept a note of all the responses and all the names and all the stuff it said because it was so strange. and I was just in shock that I was working, and one of my hands was ice cold, and my boyfriend was like, "Oh yeah, it's because they're using your energy, they're doing it through you, they're pushing it through you," and my hand was aching that much and shaking. I just wanted to swap hands, and when we asked the Ouija board if I could swap hands, it said no. It literally said no, this was before I even said to my boyfriend about feeling the like cold electric shockwaves through my body going through my hand, and it wouldn't let me swap hands, and I thought that was really weird, like really weird. Um, this earring is driving me insane. It's because I've got little ears. It's slipping at the top. But so because of this, it was just so strange that it said no. And I get that if it was using me, it didn't want to mess anything up. If it was having like good communication and was using my hand, I understand that. It was just, it felt a little bit more threatening, and that like it sort of had us in a position it knew I was uncomfortable, and that I felt a bit weird about how I was feeling in my body, and that fact like wouldn't let me change that. I thought it was quite strange. And then I'm pretty sure as it got going, there was one. It was like a boy speaking the full time, was asking about obviously gender, ages, like did you used to live here? Did you used to live on this street? Or what was the name of your street? There was one where it said, I'm pretty sure when we asked if it was a boy or something, and then we asked how old it was, and I'm pretty sure it said like 7 or something, and it meant it had died at 7, and it was saying like a deaf ear or a deaf ear or something. And then, but before it said a boy, I was thinking of that little girl that we was talking about, because we'd just been talking about that little girl that was at leaving in my stepdad's house. And then, so I was going to relate it to that. If it said it was a little girl, then I thought that little girl might have attached itself to us, or it might be related to being at my stepdad's house and be talking to us. And then when it said little boy, I thought, oh, that doesn't relate to anything like that. I don't know anything like that. And then I literally stopped and I looked at my boyfriend. I was like, and he was like, what? And I was like, the little boy on top of my wardrobe. Like, how weird is it that the thing that was talking the full time and saying that he'd lived here and died at a young age and he was a little boy is like, and then I've all of a sudden, the month surrounding that, being seeing a figure of a little boy and felt like this overwhelming presence of like a child in my bedroom, and then it mentions this, and I'm like, I can't believe it, and it's just like honestly, I don't even know, I can't even say how I felt. I was, I was like, I was dead. Like I am now speechless to say the least, and it was just. Somebody was saying, it was saying like normal ages, died at like 50s, 60s, that type of thing. Ray, there was different names, and I think we asked the little boy if he died in this house, and he had said, sorry, she got interrupted. Um, so basically, I was just in shock, and I just couldn't believe it, and it was just like I said, we was asking about where the little boy like was asking his street, and like what street, and I think it began with B. It said like it was a B, which I live on, a Buckingham, and it was saying that. And at first it said like BR or something, which we've got like there's like different ones around here, BR and stuff, and there wasn't a specific one. And I think one said a street name beginning with C. I think there's quite a few street names beginning with C, but the way it was spelling out, not around here. So then that was also throwing me off as well. Is that obviously my boyfriend didn't know that because he doesn't live around here anyway, but like I was recognising some, and I thought how like to me I thought spirits most likely that would be talking to you would be from like inside the same house as you, or maybe the bombed houses that are now gone just in this area. But I feel like surely a spirit from streets and streets and streets away won't come to contact you, because when you see people exploring like people take spirit boxes to like prisons and hotels and Ouija boards, it's usually people that have died in that hotel. You don't really get people who just like died around the area. So I don't know about that. And I don't know if anybody else has had experiences like that, and that's why I wanted to do this video to like wonder. Sorry, just got interrupted again, mother interrupting. Um So basically, yeah, this Ouija board is just, I don't know if anybody else experienced stuff like that. Some people get nothing from it, sometimes it doesn't move. I think we got nothing from it for a little bit, and then it's very slowly started doing it, and we literally had our fingers like not even touching it, like we was like levitating them just to make sure that none of us was like, we wasn't like pushing weight down on it or anything like that. Like both of us were just like holding it really lightly, and I think I was holding it like that, just really lightly, and it was obviously just moving, and I was like, oh. But all I can say is that I thought it was very strange how the thing, what was talking the full time and saying stuff that didn't make sense, and then at one point it started, it looked like it was counting down letters and going from like the beginning to the end, the beginning to the end, and I can't remember what specific letters they are. I think it's like when it says M-A-M-A or like Z-O-Z-O or something like that. That's the spirit trying to leave the board, and that's a very bad sign. I'm pretty sure it was about to do that, but then it stopped because I was getting worried about that, and then obviously I was like I was making a hint at my boyfriend that that was worrying that he was doing that. Um, and then that stopped, and I think it just was spelling out a name again of a street or talking about like, I think we said like, how did you die? And I can't remember what I said. I don't think it was anything specific. I think it did, I don't even think it answered that. I think it just spelled out a name again and an age, and was just talking about, do you live here? And it said no, but then like, I don't know. I feel like something, if that little boy was a connection, I feel like how strong I see him and like the way he's up there, I feel like he would have lived in this house or lived in the area. I feel like why would he have been streets and streets away? He could have died in the war. I'm pretty sure he did. Like it probably was in like the bombings or something like that. And I don't know. It's just strange how like I can't. I didn't know what to say. It's so weird. Like so weird. Like, and the last thing I'm gonna say is that when me and my boyfriend have been coming back here alone, so we'll put the keys in the door and leave them in the door, lock up for the night. And when I come upstairs, we both come upstairs at the exact same time, and it'll just be, there'll be like no windows open, nothing, and the keys will just be sat in the door straight dead, not moving because they're heavy at the bottom. They've got like key stuff on, and then we was both in the bathroom. I kid you not, like brushing our teeth or whatever, and you just heard this, and then when we looked down, the keys had like hit the wall, so we're swinging like that, smashing into the wall over and over and over, like somebody pulled them back and flung them into the wall, and then they were just swinging. Also, when we was in here, sat on my bed, watching TV, obviously we sat this way where I'm filming right now with the cushions up here. That way, there's 3 knocks on the door. So I literally thought that like my mum would come in the house or something with her key, and she'd come in the house, and literally I was like, her stop messing around or something. I was saying to Joe, oh yeah, my mum will be home or something, or I don't know why she's trying to do that. It's just weird. Like, and I said, I'm pretty sure the first thing I said anyway was come in, because I just thought it was my mum knocking to like come and talk to us or something, saying that she'd come back or get into something, and then open the door. Nobody's home. Mum's car's not here. She's still out for the day. Doesn't come back till hours and hours later. There's nobody home, and there's 3 knocks on the door, and that's happened twice. That happened again, and we've been sat places before. We've been like sat here, and my boyfriend will say to me like, "Did you hear that?" And it literally does. It sometimes sounds like people are downstairs. You can hear like very slight knocks on stuff. That sounds like there could be like, I hear stuff where I feel like it's somebody like knocking on the wardrobe or the door again. It sounds like somebody's in the bathroom sometimes. When I'm sat downstairs, it legit sounds like somebody's walking around upstairs. But saying that, it's also an old house, so who knows? That could just be sounds of the house, which I understand. But that's just how weird it is, how creepy it is. It's just, I've never felt like this. And then all of a sudden, it's started like when I met my partner. I met him nearly like, going on for like 9 months ago, like near bit before like Christmas. And it's just like, and then all this stuff sort of happening. we've both got a lot more spiritual, or a lot more like we watch videos about stuff, we learn about stuff, we're like really interested in it. And I feel like it's that that's just brought out this thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'll, appear to you now, now that you know more about this and you're connected spiritually, we'll make noise in the house and we'll knock and 3 times, and 3 isn't a good number if it's spirit wise. That's usually like the devil's hour, like 3 a.m., 3 knocks, 3 devil scratches. That isn't good. And there was literally one time when boyfriend walk up, oh my god, woke up, and when he woke up, I'm pretty sure there was 3 very visible scratches like down his back, and I've got a picture of them somewhere, and I can't remember where. It'll be so far back now. There's 3 scratches down his back, and then little ones everywhere else, and it's not even like a place you can get to on your back to itch your back. It was literally like central and up a bit, like you can't get to it, and that's never happened before. And he even said that he was making jokes. Oh, it looks like devil scratches. Looks like devil scratches. And when I took the pictures for him, he was like, "Oh, they actually do. Like, this is actually that's really weird. Like, that's never happened before. Like, how have I done that? I can't get there on myself." And I'm like, "I know." And that's all I have to say. Is it's just worrying. Like, I don't understand how all of this has happened. It just takes you back. It's strange. I mean, I'm into creepy stuff, like, I've got like all my pop vinyls, I've got my little Pennywise, I love horror, I've got like my Saw poster, I've got some like, Annabelle, cutesy Annabelle. I've got all my figures of serial killers, and I've got some pop vinyls, and up there is just a calendar of my dog. Up there, there's an It poster above my bed, and I just feel like there's something very off. And see, now my mum's gone out, I'll start hearing stuff again. And it's really annoying when I'm trying to explain this to people, because I feel like nobody listens. My mum don't believe me. I've spoke to my dad about stuff. He doesn't believe it, I don't think. He just sort of laughs it off. And I feel like a lot of people literally just think I'm being paranoid, and that because I've got insomnia, I'm seeing stuff. But that doesn't link to everything that we've heard in the daytime. Me and my partner have both heard and told someone, and we've both done a Ouija board and stuff that literally relates to something so specific like that of what I've been seeing for months. I don't think it's just a coincidence. And oh, scared me then. Wind chimes outside was really loud, and it sounded very creepy, like somebody whispering. Um, and it's just it's so weird. Like, I used to feel really comfortable, but now I sometimes just get, and sometimes I do, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll get my flashlight out at night. That's the thing, I don't walk around anymore, and something always tells me to have my flashlight out to see properly, because I always think that I'm seeing something, whether it's down in the hallway or something going upstairs, and that is the creepiest part. And I keep looking out the window because, like, I don't even know. Weird stuff going on out there. Somebody walking in and out the house about 1,000 times. Um, and it's just, it's so strange. My dog used to, when I was younger, my dog used to just stare at the door for ages and sometimes like growl, and I'd be like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Because that's worrying. Like, very worrying. That scares me. Um, but it's just strange. I try and feel safe, but I don't always, especially when I'm alone. I mean, I'm going to be alone a lot as well. Like, my mum's working all week again now. She's back, she's back at work after all this COVID and lockdown stuff. Jesus. And I'll be back at college on Thursday. And then on the Friday, I'm travelling up to London for my boyfriend's brother's wedding. That's why I'm like looking like this. Like, I've curled my hair and that, 'cause I'm trying to like see what I'm gonna do for like wedding hair, you know what I mean? Um, but I thought I'd make this video because I wanted to for a while, and I've mentioned it to my boyfriend and people, and they know how into it I am. And like my boyfriend was saying, go for it. You should try do something like that, because I just live for paranormal videos. Like, all I watch is paranormal videos and cool documentaries on stuff of cases. And if any of you want to see me do that, I can do that, because I would love to do that. I would love to literally I would love to cover like cases, all the cool stuff about like Annabelle, and, like Robert the doll, and all different stuff about like serial killers or whatever you want me to cover. And that's if anybody even sees this, which I don't think they will. But I'm just doing this for my peace of mind, to remember what I've been through, and to hopefully somebody can relate to it. And if somebody's watching this that really feels like uncomfortable and is like seeing stuff at night like I am and can't sleep anymore, and I've just got this off feeling all the time, just know you're not alone, and that I'm here for you. And yeah, last thing to mention, oh my god, right, so doing on TikTok, there was a trend not longer, and you use basically this filter that picks up like, it's to do with like the heat temperatures, like the stuff that they use in like investigations and that. And if you move it around, there's people who see like figures of people. A lot of people are just like, oh yeah, it's not really that, it's a hoax. It just picks up what looks like figures or clothes that look like there's something and make out like it's a person. Well, I kid you not, I literally did it as a laugh, right? So I had my camera and I was filming like this. And like I was a bit further along, but I was like here. Now I had my camera and I was filming, and when I did that and I watched it back, and I was like, I was doing that and I watched it back. Literally, slow like this, it went, a woman, a spirit of a woman, walked out my bedroom door when it was open. She was over here where it is like here, and it went and disappeared out the door. It very quickly, but when you stop it in captures and watch it slowly, you can see it shuddering along like that and disappearing, just dissipating. And there was nothing in my room that's shaped like that. What could look like a woman on her side with hair of colours like manipulating to get out of the door. Why would somebody be walking out of my door as well? If it's a figure, if it's them on the door, like even though the door's open, if it was like the wardrobe picking something up or my stuff over there looking like a head or something, it would have just stayed in the same position. It wouldn't have walked from me and gone all the way out of the door and disappeared. Like that is creepy. I've got the video of that somewhere else as well. If I find that, I will upload that so you know exactly what I mean, because that is very worrying. Um, that's creepy, that. Um, but I think that's all I have to say. It was, and the woman that walked out my room, also when I showed family members, it was like, oh, it looks like she's pregnant. And I didn't realise that at first, but it actually does. You can see like it looks like a face, like a side profile of a face with the nose, and it looks like shabby hair, and then it just looks like there's a pregnancy belly, and then no legs, just like hovering, pregnancy belly, neck, face. And I think that's so sad. If there's something here and it's a woman who was like pregnant or something and she's passed away, then like I just wish she could have talked to me through the Ouija board, or I could have had peace with her, and I could have seen, I don't know, I could have just like communicated it. And I didn't know that until I watched that back, and it literally, I've never seen anybody, all the people I've seen on TikTok, it's always just been in the same position, or somebody sat in a chair and there's just been like the colours flashing on and off that looks like a figure. I've never seen something so like high quality side profile of like what looks like a person literally like glitchily levitating out of a room, like moving across the room, and I've never seen that before. And like that, I don't think many people even saw that on my TikTok, because I'm not very high on anything, which I'm not bothered about, because all that matters to me is me reporting stuff in my life of what I think is important and what I'm gonna want to remember and need to know. But anyway, that's it. And this has been a very long video, and I'm very sorry it's literally at nearly 40 minutes. Like, it's a very long video. I wasn't expecting it to be so long, but I haven't got good editing skills. I don't know how to do anything like this. This is like my first time properly talking about something for so long, and hoping that I can help somebody on YouTube, or somebody has some advice for me, or we can talk about stuff, because I don't know anymore. All of this is so random and I don't get why it's happening to me now. And I just feel like I'm sort of like lost a bit. I feel like people don't really understand what it's like until you're in that position, and you've just got such a bad feeling of stuff that you feel that uncomfortable, and you don't, and nobody's believing you. They just think that you're being paranoid based on like because you can't sleep and all that stuff. And it's not just that, because none of this is coincidence. All the videos and the Ouija board and all the stuff, it all connects, and it definitely does, and I know it does. And I hope that other people are going to see that when they listen to me and understand how I feel and what I'm saying. So with that, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you comment or subscribe or whatever, or just tell me what you'd like to see, or just feel free to ask me anything, or ask for advice yourself on anything if you've experienced the same type of thing. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.